Hi everyone. This is actually part two of a video that I had made about um, the mental health system. And I've been getting some messages and emails, you know, where people are actually thanking me for talking about this. And, you know, I also encourage you to talk about it as well. Because, another thing about this system is that it's a $1 billion industry. And, when you actually look at the benefits of what this thing called mental health has to actually offer, and the implications of even coming into contact with that fucking, I don't know what you call that system, there's a problem there. And I'm only speaking for, the racialized experience of this. And within that racialized focus, you have all these different ethnic groups. You even have persons that are differently positioned, I guess, with issues related to gender, sex assignment, and stuff. And to hear some of the stories about them is just their experiences is it's pretty fucking disgusting. So one of the things that I did was I said, you know what, I'm gonna put this shit up on the internet and see about connecting with people to get important discussion going about this stuff. I mean, I have videos about other stuff or whatever, but I'll tell you something about this thing called mental health. It actually stigmatizes a person. It dehumanizes a person. What it does is it takes away your fucking humanity. I shouldn't say it takes away your humanity, but it degrades you to a level of disgust. It's not even funny. They have this practice in this thing called, like, I even hate referring to this term mental health. But I actually looked into the origins of psychology. And I said to myself, why in the fucking world would they even build something from something called penis envy? And I looked into this shit and I was like, what the fuck is this? They build a whole $1 billion industry after this thing. And actually, in the demographic of Ontario, Canada, they have this thing called what they call an OHIP card. So when you actually look at this thing called an OHIP card, where exactly are services relevant to the culture of the person being billed to the public infrastructure? Because this thing called an OHIP card is actually connected to public funding. So why is stuff related to, the pharmaceutical trade being built from public monies? That public money should actually be coming back to us. It should be coming back to everybody in the way of helping people up, not tearing people down. I see all these advertisements about, how mental health has helped this person. That's fucking bullshit. I've heard 5 cases so far. And each one of them have cases. It's disgusting. I'm just wondering why there isn't a class action lawsuit already. Starting from Ontario, Canada. Because you know what? Ontario, Canada promotes itself as this diversity heartland, but it's not. When you actually look at, for example, the incidences of black women that have been separated from their children, there's a differential pattern there. Why would you even separate mothers from their children if that's not what they want? This thing called racial profiling related to medicalization, it's fucking bullshit. It is such bullshit. And for individuals that are interested in this stuff, what you can do is you can actually subpoena the records, subpoena the medical records, and take a look at them yourself. Key question number one: where the fuck did the patient actually acknowledge that that is what they said in this medical story about them? Number two, how do they actually go about auditing these medical records? How many people actually question this stuff? How many people actually sit down and say, hey, you know what? We're going to order our medical records from our doctors and we are going to see what they're writing about us. Take your black friends, take your Punjabi friends, take your Caucasian friends, take your friends who are queer, all different. Sit down with your medical records and look at what this shit that they're doing. Why does medicine operate like this? This brand of medicine. I mean, we haven't even gone into, for example, dermatology is one, gynecology is another one. This particular one, called psychiatry, based on this thing called fucking psychology, it actually started from something called penis envy. Then they had this Caucasian male that was talking about, his obsessions in a very fucking warped way. And they developed this discipline. People, when you get involved in things, right, what you need to do is you need to question the origins of this stuff. Where the fuck did this stuff come from? You don't just get into a practice because, you can make like money and you can get your, $300,000 car or $1 million, whatever. It should never be about that. It should be about how you actually make a difference in a good way. What about empowering the person? The person comes to you, has no idea how this medical thing works. What are you going to say to the person? You going to do things to them to tear them down? I actually came forward because I said, you know what? This is fucking bullshit. This is bullshit. Opportunity cost? Oh God. I can't even, how many hundreds of thousands of dollars? Just to start. I showed my calculation and to this, I have to say this thing. And this thing basically started saying, oh, whatever position they were saying. And I listened to that position. I said, you know what, something is wrong here with these fucking petitioners. Where are they learning to even think like that? When someone comes to you with something, you're going to elevate them, but you also have ethics. You can do different tests to see whether or not people are legitimate with what they're saying. But then you can also question, well, what is the purpose here? A person should come to you and say, you know what, yeah, I did this. Why are you going to tear them down? Why are you going to play these fucking little games? Okay, you know what, you did that, but we're going to go around the system this way. The system is set up in a certain way to encourage some sense of democracy and some sense of civil. When I reflect on things related to, for example, this racial profiling related to medicine, I said to myself, how do you actually make sense of this? Some people are like, oh, you got to do this. No. You don't have to do anything that they do. You work at your pace. And you got to process this stuff yourself. Racial profiling related to medicalization is absolutely disgusting. Take a look at some of my other videos and look at these fucking morons. Look at their comments. I made a video about this this woman that I saw on I was on public transit actually. It was a Caucasian woman with 3 aboriginal children. I looked at this, I said, something is fucking wrong here. I wasn't the only one who was looking. Even this woman's own kind, Caucasian, were looking at her and shaking their head like, something's wrong with you, bitch. What happened How did those children end up with this woman? And if people could see how wrong that picture was. Kids, all consumption stuff. And she had her own coddled in her arm. This racial profiling related to medicalization, this shit ain't funny. It ain't funny. Especially to see what's happening to black women in this demographic called Ontario, Canada. 3 hospitals so far. How did these black people end up in there? How? And these people that work in these places, why the fuck did you not even fucking stand up and say, stop it? We need to get together. We need to make some policy change. We need to investigate this stuff to say, what the fuck is this? You don't beat up people in fucking hospitals. You don't even traffic people into a fucking hospital. Some of you that are connected to this thing called the drug version of psychology, look at something called the history of a hospital. You know what people even say to people? You're not going to get married. You're not going to have children. And you know what? We are going to have fun with your body. How is that cool? Racial profiling related to medicalization? That shit ain't funny. You know, you can't even laugh about this thing. It's like the millions, calculations in the millions. People, if you have had any experiences with this, you need to come forward. And you know what? Yes, let people spit in your face. Let those people that you grew up with or whatever, dehumanize you. But you know what? You report it back to authorities and say, you know what? This is how this thing called psychology works. The form that actually is based on the fucking drug trade. As a matter of fact, I've gone to these meetings for about 10 years now. And where I am, terrible police relations. Terrible. Fucking people hate the police. I say to myself, why? What's going on here, right? Well, all these dead black children. So what the fuck is this? Right? You even listen to some of these very, very, very... They're so gifted and they're so creative. Listen to them talk about their experience with this thing called police. I actually love policing work. I find it's absolutely incredible. It's great stuff. But not the stuff that says, okay, you know what? It's time to actually degrade people. I have some fucking respect for something called peace officer services. You see this thing on my hand? This is from medicalization. I want everybody out there to see. I've put up other videos and I don't even give a shit. Somebody sent me a message, said, oh, just whatever. Don't let these things get to you. They don't get to me, but it gets me to question. What the hell is this? You miss out on milestones. Major, major milestones. You miss out on just those little things that you can say, you know what? This is a little tip. This is a little trick. You miss out on all those little surprises. And you're constantly reminded that it's okay to be violated. It's okay because you're a fucking nigger. This is happening in Canada, folks. This is not an American thing. This is a Canadian thing. I can even do a fucking political analysis, okay? I can talk about any fucking subject, anything. And yeah, I'll hold up videos or whatever. But to have a crew, Say, okay, you know what? This is what we're going to do. What do you think about this? That's what's going to happen. This thing called racial profiling related to medicalization, starting with this thing called psychiatry with drugs. Where did this fucking where did this thing called psychology come from? I just gave you the answer to a question directly. I get so fucking disgusted when I even think of that word. To tell you the truth. You know, I read like these comments and okay, I gotta go to this text, I gotta go to this text, I gotta go to this text. Like, how do you actually make sense of this stuff? That's one piece of your life. The other piece of your life is having fun. Doing wonderful things. Getting involved in chocolate rodeos, going to the outdoors, you know, taking some wonderful footage, going on some excellent traveling assignments. But what this fucking thing called mental health does, it halts all of that. Why? Why? Racial profiling related to medicalization, that shit ain't funny. You know, I could certainly doll out myself or whatever. But you know what, quite frankly, I just thought about some things and I said, you know, I gotta get back to these videos. But I am going to get back to them when I feel like it. Because you actually have to process this stuff. It fucking hurts. Just imagine you miss all these milestones. You miss beautiful opportunities to flower. The things that you actually love in your life becomes fucked up. Because this clique says, hey, that's a fucking nigger. She's a nigger because she has fucking locks. But they don't fucking understand that, you know what? These locks aren't going anywhere. This is very beautiful for us. How did we even get to this? This has nothing to do with fucking drug trade. These people are so fucking ignorant, it's not even funny. People, you gotta come forth and stop and start talking about this. Yeah, let them laugh at you. Let them spit in your face. Let them try and humiliate you. One person is going to be out there and they're going to be like, you know what? Something's going on. I was somewhere today. I walked into this place. Everybody's looking. I just fucking laughed. I said, yeah, medical data. Oh, I'm just going to go through every fucking one of them. What did you guys do to all these black bodies? Why do you guys do that? I've talked to some individuals, and you know what? They are so dehumanized, it's not even funny. And so why didn't you go talk to the media about your stuff? I even got in touch with the media. I thought it was actually a black media, but then when I started to do some research into sort of the origins of it and how it started and stuff, it's not even black media. And I was watching some of their, updates and stuff, and I was like, you know what, are they really for the black community? And then I looked at the background, and it was like, not for the black community. I won't even say their name because I'm not even going to give them advertising. Racial profiling related to medicalization, that shit ain't funny. People bring your stories forward. Bring your stories forward. This thing called Western medicine, it's pretty fucked up, let me tell you. I mean, there's some people doing some really wonderful things. Like you have, for example, pediatric cardiologists. You know, they've got really big hands and they're working on little hearts. And it's really cute to see that. I personally could never do that. Absolutely not. Racial profiling related to medicalization. How do they teach this stuff in med schools? You know, to you out there watching this, involved in, for example, something called peace officer services, we're all peace officers. We can actually do a citizen's arrest. Police come up to us, we can actually arrest the police. How many of us actually know that? I have looked into the eyes of some real hateful pieces of shit. I look at them and I feel a way. I said, holy Christ, how did that motherfucker even get employed in this? You have access to trust. You don't even demonstrate trust. You have no semblance in your fucking being of peace. You don't even know how to write a fucking sentence. You don't even know how to fill out a fucking application form, and you're employed with something called peace officer services? That really fascinates me. That really fascinates me because you know what, quite frankly, when you deal with people in situations of vulnerability, you should never, ever, ever attack a person because of the color of their skin, because of the beauty of their hair, because of the level of their intellect. You know, I was in a place. I'm also working on some stuff, some really cool stuff that it stimulates me. And these people got in the way of my work. You know what I said to them? I'm going to charge you $900,000 a minute. They looked at me. $900,000 a minute for inconveniencing me. This shit ain't funny, people. It's not funny. For those of you who have actually experienced this, racial profiling relating to medicine, do not be afraid to ask questions. It is the most humiliating, disgusting thing. And you know what really hurts? Is when you have these people around you that are supposed to be family and friends, they all turn against you. Oh yeah, she's got problems. Oh yeah, oh really? Wow. So I'm going to take their name off my little secret list of goodies for certain people. That's what you got to do. You got to write this shit up. You got to put it into a fucking vault. They got some real fucked up in our family. When I say our family, the black family. This colonization stuff, let me tell you something, folk. For those of you in this industry, I listen to how you fucking guys talk. Biomedical stuff related to this discipline of psychology. I listen to how you guys talk. I was just walking through the other day somewhere, And I was listening to these students talking about their intervention in something called crisis, and I said, that's really interesting. I wonder if they actually are taught that if you actually intervene in something, you're going to go down. You're actually going to be arrested. And you know what? Everything you write about that person is going to be scrutinized. How many of them know about this shit? These people, they're employed in these, what do you call them, union things or whatever. You should see how they behave. You should see how they fucking act. You should see how they look. Why don't they have like these inspectors that actually, go in there? Where are they? Where are the inspector reports? The video footage. What does the video footage show? What are the values of at least 3 hospitals closing down? Three of them. Every single one of them. Racial profiling related to medicalization. This shit ain't funny, people. It ain't funny. See this thing on my hand? This is related to racial profiling. You know what this hand is for? This hand is for my writing. This hand is also for my abilities to propel myself. When you actually run, you need your wrists. So who the fuck were these Caucasian people that decided, hey, it's pretty funny, let's pick on her? Where are they? Are they still employed with the service? How much is their salary a year? What is their pension? What cases have they actually worked on? We want to see all of their fucking cases and we want to counsel them. We actually want to go after all the people that they've racially profiled. And since the existence of this thing called policing services, you know what? Not one has even stepped up and said, holy fuck, something is wrong here. You guys are a fucking embarrassment. Internationals don't even export or import, this model. There's actually some good things happening from the federals. They're canceling funding, and I'm just like, I am so happy. Tear down that fucking system. This system is very problematic. Racial profiling related to medicalization. This is part 2. It's now summer of 2012. I've been asking questions. I've traced it right back to 2001. It's now 2012. What the fuck is this thing? You dehumanize a person? Opportunity costs them millions. You aggravate. You destroy black families. Even the good in the black community. Very brilliant. You have a good laugh. I've got other videos. People, you have to come forth and you gotta speak up. Because when you don't speak up, it happens over and over and over again. You see these motherfuckers? 1 is too much. 2 is a crisis. What happens after that? 3rd step, change. 1 is too much. 2 is a crisis. Model change. How could you actually work in a model that's doesn't even work? I just can't wait for the day every single one of you lose your fucking license, lose your fucking jobs, lose your fucking mortgages, lose your fucking families. And you know what? You go stand up in the unemployment office and see what it's like. Let me tell you something. I don't even eat processed foods. I don't even watch this bullshit on TV. This thing called TV. I love film. I think film is just a really good